Hello, my name is Samantha Lamosa.
And my name is Perez.
And this is our video project for Theories of Personality with Professor San Nicolas.
We're going to be analyzing the fairy tale Snow White based on psychoanalytic theory. I will be relating it to the Freudian theory.
Well, I'll be relating it to Carl Jung's perspective.
I will be introducing the Freudian theory using the id, the ego, and the superego, and compare similarities. The queen symbolizes the id. Her zealous desires to kill Snow White, driven by her wrath and jealousies, are signs of someone who is controlled by her primitive emotions. She seems to be using a defense mechanism, denial, in her treatment of the situation. She is incapable of accepting the idea that she is in the affairs of them all. Because of this, she seeks to destroy Snow White. Snow White represents the ego. She is coping with her situation in a healthier way than the stepmother, despite the fact that she breaks to someone home just to clean it. She is more accepting and she adapts to what happens to her. In the Disney version, Snow White runs into the woods after her husband tries to kill her. She begins to experience strange hallucinations where she sees eyes in the trees and the branch form into claws. This could be a scene which her ego breaks down altogether and has a psychotic episode after that traumatic experience. The superego symbolizes a father figure, and this is represented by different characters. The huntsman, for example, cannot kill Snow White even if it was ordered by the queen. He represents the morality of the superego. The dwarves take Snow White into their home and make her feel welcome. They are protective of her, much like a father is with his children. In this way, it reflects the paternalistic nature of the superego in this fairy tale. The prince displays a father figure role by taking her home and ensuring her safety. In the Brothers Grimm version, the prince ordered for the evil stepmother to dance in hot iron shoes until she dies. In the Disney version, the prince doesn't influence the queen's death. She dies by accidental means.
Now I'm going to be discussing how Jungian theory relates to this fairy tale, particularly Jung's concepts of the collective unconscious and its archetypes and how they relate to each of the characters. The Great Mother is one of the most explored archetypes in the story. Snow White, with a dead mother and a murderous stepmother, ends up having to take on the role herself once she's with the dwarves. She takes on a traditional mothering role of cooking and cleaning for them. It is no mistake that both the Shadow and the Queen are capable of being dangerous and evil. She typifies the aggressive impulses that most would repress, given that she's intent on murdering her only stepdaughter for the sake of beauty. Snow White represents both the persona and the anima. She adapts well after her ordeal, despite everything. She represents the positive social persona of traditional femininity. She's kind, trusting, gentle, and beautiful. Her representation of the anima shows the development of a female psyche from innocent girl to mature ruler. The prince typifies the animus and its masculine traits: leadership, strength, and action. He serves to represent the masculine ideals to be integrated into the consciousness. The relationship between the anima and the animus is reflected in Snow White and the prince. In the beginning of the Disney version, Snow White, the anima, interacts with the prince, the animus, but they're separated by the queen, the shadow. The only way they do interact and form a bond is after Snow White goes through her ordeal with the queen. Her death represents the time of introspection that Jung emphasized as very important. Once the anima and the animus are together and the shadow is dealt with, they finally experience psychological wholeness. In the two different versions of the story we've explored, the dwarves play different roles. In the Brothers Grimm version, the dwarves aren't given names or identities, so they can be seen as the general idea of the spiritual father archetype because of the wisdom they try to impart to Snow White. In the Disney version, Doc would be the spiritual father because he is the most wise and he takes on the leadership role in the group. Dopey and Grumpy would be the trickster archetype because they exemplify many of the inferior traits like ignorance and bad-temperedness. Both of these perspectives give different takes on the story of Snow White, with Freud's emphasis on the three psychic apparatuses and Jung's focus on the collective unconscious and the archetypes that make it up. We can see the clear differences that made these two great minds have such similar yet distinct ideas about personality and about psychology.